Why me? Why me? You ever had that moment where you're just there asking God, why me? Like, I've been a decent human being. I've been out here trying my best. But why? Why is all these things happening to me? Why? Why? Typically, a lot of us have, especially within frustrations, within struggles within our life, within things going on in our life, we ask God, why me? God, why? And the question I ask you, if not you, then who? If not you, then who? Why me? Would you prefer it to be your brother, your sister, your cousin, your girlfriend, your wife, your husband, your child, your mother, your father? Who would you prefer it to be? You're suffering right now, but who would you prefer to have this suffering? Who would you prefer to be in your shoes at this moment in time? You see, if you can grant me these couple of minutes of your time, maybe it will provide some value to you. But the question you shouldn't be asking is, God, why me? You see, whenever we are in our frustrations and we're going through loads of things, it is easy for us to forget A, that we had good times, B, that we had previous bad times that we came through, and C, to look at ourselves as the only person who's suffering. When I asked you, God, why me? And I asked you, who would you rather it be? And I know some of you innately were thinking of people you don't like and stuff like that. And so if I had to ask you what you're going through, all the stresses you're going through, all the pain you're going through, all the heartbreak, all the sadness, all the stress, all the mental, everything, whether it's abuse, whatever it may be, would you prefer this to be on your best friend? Or do you prefer this to be on your loved one? And I say that to say that when we are going through stuff, it's easy for us to turn ourselves into victims. And the truth of the matter is, you may be a victim, but the issue about putting yourself as a victim within your struggles is that being a victim is somewhat comfortable. It's somewhat comfortable to be a victim, because when you become a pure victim and you see yourself as a victim and everything around you qualifies you to be a victim, then you devoid yourself of any responsibility to change your situation. Now, when you're asking God, why me? And you're looking onto God, most people now, they understand that when it comes to quantifying their spirituality or their Christianity, is their level of Islam, Hinduism, whatever it may be, most people focus on their relationship with God. Their relationship with God. And that's what you're essentially supposed to be trying to cultivate, is a relationship with God. Not necessarily just a pure soul dependency on God. It's a relationship, a dependable relationship, but it's a relationship nonetheless. And within a relationship, you have responsibilities. And God has responsibilities to you, but you have responsibilities to yourself and to Him. And so God can't help those who don't help themselves. And most times when we're shouting, God, why me? Most times we've put ourselves in the space where we're not able to see that there's answers right in front of us. And the idea that your suffering is the only suffering in this world, it's the only suffering for you that is in this world. What does it mean to be human? To be human is to be, one, imperfectly perfect, and in turn, be unique. Human beings are not perfect by nature, but the uniqueness of your imperfection makes you perfect for who you are. And two, human means suffering. And ultimately the human being's quest and struggle has been to overcome suffering. And that is innate to every human being. And what does that mean? That means that every single person in this world is going through something. Every single person is going through problems. Every single person has a problem. And when you see your problems, your perspective of how you see it will quantify whether you're going to receive the blessings that situation has come to bring you. So some of you will be like, oh, but I'd rather have this person's life. Well, if you have this person's life, you have this person's makeup, because regardless of whatever your makeup is, your problems are quantifiable to you, and they are there for you to go through. So you may feel like, okay, the problems that somebody else may have, based on the experiences you have, you could hack it. But no, if you went into this person's shoes and this person's experiences and the problems come to them, you won't be able to hack it. And then you go into a different person's shoes and you're shouting, God, why me? What is a muscle? You know, people go to the gym, everybody's going to the gym and they're building muscle, But how's a muscle made? A muscle's made by ripping and repairing, by going through struggle and overcoming it, by going through stress, and then overcoming it, adding a bit of rest, and then going through more stress, and then overcoming it. Our lives as human beings, what makes us so unique in our experiences, and why I believe that if everybody was living to their true potential, that we would be working together in harmony. Because if you imagine that if you look at your whole body, you have a multitude of muscles. You have a multitude of muscles that come together to help you function. And if you look at all those different muscles as all of us different human beings coming together, then us as a human being, we could work. But what you have to understand, with all the different muscles you have in your body, all of them are under different levels of stress. All of them are there for different emotions. Some of them, if you walk straight, they're there. Some of them, if you go sideways, they're not there no more. It's a different muscle. There's some of them that are there when you do a backflip, a front flip. Every single motion you make, there's a different muscle that's experiencing it. Your leg muscles don't understand the stress that your shoulder muscles are taking. Your shoulder muscles don't understand the stress that your back muscles are taking. Your arm muscles, everything. Even your leg, your foot doesn't understand this level of stress your tongue is going through. Every single muscle in your body is under different levels of stress, different levels of suffering, different levels of problem, and they can individually say, why me? God, why me? But ultimately, after stress and suffering, typically there's a blessing. So, what is the right question to be asking yourself? Now you're here, God, why me? You're stressed out. Now look, first and foremost, you need to understand that it's a relationship with God. You know, obviously within this channel, I don't really try to be too spiritual in that sense, but regardless, I don't care what your belief system is, but when you're asking the universe, why me? You should be asking this question. What are you trying to teach me? You see, there's two things that whenever stress comes into my life that I ask myself, and I ask God, and I ask the universe, I ask life. And it is the second one one is more annoying than the other. The first one is, what are you trying to teach me? And two is based on the principle that, that you have the skills and the abilities to overcome what you want to do. And if you're believing in God and you believe in God, then you need to understand that He trusts your ability to overcome this. And so the question you need to ask is, sometimes it's even an exclamation, as opposed to a question, it's more an exclamation. And I'll be like, "Your God, I know you don't give us anything that we can't handle, but sometimes I wish you didn't have this much confidence in me." And whenever I set out a task, to somebody within my team or a friend or something like that, even though it may seem challenging, I have faith in their ability to overcome that. I have their faith in their ability to get through that. I have faith in their ability for them to do that, and whether they're able to work with me and see that for themselves to be able to overcome it is a question of them, not of God or me in that situation. And so when you're asking God, why me? Yes, it's stressful, uni, work, all these things, but what can that situation teach you? You feel like you have no options. Whenever you feel like you have no options, then you've narrowed your view. Think more. You have an option. You always have an option. There's always a different perspective. Oh, my days, this uni, all these things. Oh God, why me? Why is all this thing? There's always something that can be done. But the question of whether you're willing to work with God and work with yourself and take upon the responsibility to take action. There's a reason why you have free will. Because the relationship you have with God, you can choose to either work or not work with Him. You can choose to work with yourself or not work with yourself. You can choose to make that decision. If you're looking for God to come and write your essay, if you're looking for God to come and change the situation just out of the blue without you doing nothing, then my friend, it's not going to change. And you're going to continue shouting, God, why me? Because you haven't decided to understand what He's come to teach you and lean into it. How did you ride a bike? You failed. How did you get through university? You stressed out. How did you become good at anything worth doing is worth doing wrong before you know how to do it right. And so this life itself, living this life, some of us have to live it wrong before we realize how to live it life. If you look at the Bible, one of the greatest people within there is Paul. Don't forget, he was Saul, moving mad. Changed up, now he's Paul. In the context of how he was living his life, he was moving hella mad. But if you look at the New Testament, basically he runs that thing. And for you within your life, why are you shouting, God, why me? Why are you stressed? There's only so much you can control within your life, but there's more that you can probably do. So instead of saying, God, why me? What can this situation teach me? And what can I do and work with Him to overcome it? Because once you take a step, that's when you understand when you're taking the right step, as opposed to waiting for Him to tell you right foot, left foot. No, you take a right foot and then He'll let you know, nah, actually, you should have done the left foot. He works with you, not for you. So that's how the thing be. So stop shouting, God, why me? Because if you ask God, why me, I'm asking you, who should it have been out of the people you love? It's not an easy decision to make, is it? So I hope that this adds some little perspective into your life. I hope this adds into your life a little bit. But for whatever suffering or whatever stress or whatever thing you're going through now, understand that it's something out there to enable to help you, to strengthen you, and you have a big ability. Don't sell yourself short. You have the ability to change the situation that you're in now. You have the ability to transform your life, whether you're willing to make a decision and change the way you think about your life, to change the way that you think about yourself, to change the way you think about your capability, the way you think about what you're owed or what you can achieve in this life. When you're able to tell yourself that I can do this and believe it in yourself, because the only one person you can't lie to is yourself. And when you can believe that can do that, then you start seeing more options opening in your eyes. And the truth of the matter is that to get something that you've never had or a different result, you're going to have to do some things that you have not normally done. So when some of you are shouting, God, why me? The issue isn't that God, why me? It's the fact that you're not willing to change the way you approach your situations. You're not willing to change or grow within how you deal with this particular situation or this particular person or this particular task or developing this skill or whatever it may be. And you are unwilling to do certain things, and hence you are going to continue getting the same results until you're able and willing to change what you are willing to do. So in this life, it's all about choices, and you make your choice of how you want to live, and you ultimately lie on that bed. So make the choices, and if you make the hard choices, you probably have an easier life. If you make the easy choices, your life will somewhat be harder, because you've been living in your comfort zone. And your comfort zone, in the long run, you just end up comfortable in discomfort. I wish you a blessed day, nothing but happiness and success for you and your family, and have a blessed day. Share this with somebody who may need to hear this. Take care and bye.